Welcome to Limited Time Only.
I'm Esther.
And I'm Susie.
Limited Time Only is the podcast for anyone who feels there aren't enough hours in their life.
And each week there's a different topic for you to get your ears around.
Featuring chat, comedy sketches and interviews with interesting people.
Limited Time Only is a pick-me-up in podcast form.
The special guest later in the episode is Nadia Attura. This week it's time for the Art Gallery.
Susie,
Esther.
talk to me about art, baby.
Oh, cripes. God,
What do you think of it?
On the spot. Well, I mean,
It's a bit of a crap question, that, isn't it?
well, it's quite a big question. But I'll tell you what, this morning, I sat down at my desk here to get ready to record, and I looked ahead of me, and I've got a beautiful painting of the moon over the sea, which my daughter painted for me for my birthday. I've got a little drawing of a robot that my son had done for me, which makes me very happy. And I saw, and I also have got this little postcard, which is a card that's come from a place called Art K, which is, they do workshops for young artists, for kids and adults. You can do, weekly workshops, or you can do one-offs, or you can do summer holiday things. And Beatrice went for a trial a couple of weeks ago, and she's since gone back every week. She loved it. But on the front, it says, "To be an artist is to believe in life." And I thought, and that's a quote from Henry Moore, the British sculptor. And I thought, I'd forgotten I'd put that there. And how brilliant that we're talking about art today. And I've just noticed that I haven't actually read, hasn't been in my consciousness, having sat at this desk a few times since I put it there. And I thought, yeah, that's. I think an artist for me is not just about. We are talking about art specifically, but artist as a word, and it doesn't have to be an occupation. I think anybody can be an artist in some respect. Is about the arts, and so musicians, painters, actors, dancers, but art specifically. Yeah, I think it's taking what you see and what you feel, what you hear, and making something tangible from that. And it's not always beautiful. When I think of art, I probably think of beautiful things and portraits I might like in the National Gallery or something, or colours. But I think also it can be dark and exploring the dark side of life and our emotions, and dark side of humanity, and the dark side of what we don't know, we don't understand. It encompasses everything, doesn't it? And
it does.
I love that quote. I think it's
a brilliant quote, and I think it's for me, artistic endeavours are about, quite often about unearthing things that are within myself, but also helping me make sense of things.
Yeah.
So I think
that is art.
It's
the purpose of art, isn't it?
And then communicating that with people and having an effect on how somebody might feel. I've written plays, and I quite often don't know what the ending's going to be, but I know who the characters are. I know people. I've got a friend of ours, Ross, who is a writer, but he writes in a very structured way. He knows the beginning, the middle and end, and he makes sure he hits all the beats. And I don't write in that way. I write in the way that I sort of have a rough idea what the setup is and the kind of feel of it, but I think about who the characters are, and I literally have to know their dates of birth, and I go really deep into who they are, and then it bounces around in my head for a while, and then I think of music that I'd hear in it and stuff like that, and then when it comes together, I almost listen to the people talking, and I'm typing what I hear these people saying. They're very real to me, and then the ending, it's almost like I follow them, and then it all comes together, and then you sort of shape it, mold it, and then you sort of find what the purpose was to it and the point of it as you're going along. And I think that's so it's almost like pulling layers out of
Yes.
yourself and then going, and there will be people like, I had a play that was on at the Birmingham Rep a few years ago, and my aunt came to see it and she recognized herself in it, and my dad recognized himself in one of the characters, but they weren't them.
No.
There were elements of them, but there were
Yeah.
also lots of other people that you don't really know you're putting in, or sometimes you do, but it's not. And then these fresh people appear, and I just think that's wonderful. And but what you were saying as well about art not having to be a career, and I did this painting behind me just before Christmas. I knew I wanted a painting in my office, and I knew I wanted something that was quite sort of impressionistic, and I knew to buy something like that would probably cost a lot of money that I didn't really want to spend at the time. So my friend was an interior designer, kind of still is, and she knew this place that was having a closing down sale, so I bought this behind me, the frame with a canvas in, which I didn't like, and I painted over the top of it. And I can't explain how I felt sort of mad and free when I was doing it, and I was crying and I was laughing, and I felt this sort of creative release that I don't normally get, because normally anything creative that I produce is for consumption.
Yeah.
And this wasn't, and
it's words as well,
and it's no
normally.
words. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
There were no words in it. It was just about going with the feeling. My daughter was freaking out. She was going, "What are you doing? There's paint going everywhere," and she wanted to take the frame down. But I felt this sort of emotional release, and then when it sort of looked like it might be done, I just stopped, and I felt pleased with it, and I put it on the wall, and it's sort of to remind me to be creative, but also to take that pressure off yourself, because it's play.
Yes,
it's play.
Yeah. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be for anybody else.
No.
And actually, I love looking at that, because you're looking at it as well, aren't you? Because when we look at each other in the
Yes.
on our screens, you see it. But it's a fantastic page to describe it to those of you who are not watching this on YouTube. It is an impressionistic piece. It's like I suppose there's many colours. It's predominantly red.
Oh, it's
red
pink,
colours
actually.
and pink. Oh, it's pink.
Oh, there is a little bit of red in it. I'll put a photograph online.
Yes,
it's
do,
difficult
'cause
to
it's
see
lovely.
It fully, and it's very textured.
Green and gold, huge splodges of gold, and it's really
Pinks.
wonderful. It's very vibrant and energetic. It's got good energy coming out of it.
It has.
I really love it, and I love the gold.
Yeah.
It's just a few splodges, and it really kind of
And
pings.
this is my favourite bit, actually. At
Yeah.
the top, you can't see at the top. It's pink. It's like pinks and oranges
It's
and
really
bits
nice.
of purple, and it just makes me feel quite alive. And when I touch it, it's very textured, and I wanted that.
Because it was
as
acrylic,
well.
was it?
It's acrylics, yeah. And I did
So
it
that
once.
thick paint.
Yes, and I did it once, and I didn't like it, and it was too. I don't know. I was trying to fit the pattern that was there before, and then I did it again with just going for it, and I thought I need to do this more often. It's not a masterpiece or anything like that, but it was just the freedom. And actually, I don't think this is in the interview, but we've already interviewed Nadia. But afterwards, we talked about it briefly off air, and I was telling her about it, and I was talking like I am now, and then she said to me, "Oh, you're getting quite emotional, as in passionate." But as soon as she said that, I felt my tears flood into my eyes. I thought, God,
They are
I'm
now.
not doing it again now. Yeah,
I can see your eyes glazing.
Oh God, don't look at me! Don't look at me. Oh God, I'm such a
Oh,
crier.
Esther.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because I don't know what the tears are about.
No, that is it's the representation of something that came out of you, and it's beautiful to see, because it is so vibrant and so full of energy and positivity and colour. Isn't that wonderful? That that's what's in your in your core.
Yes,
I think it's amazing. That's sort of a representation of a positive, you on a positive day, and that you can look at that and go, that's what's actually in here. If I'm feeling a bit crap or whatever, then that's the true Esther.
Oh God, it's quite deep, isn't it? But I'll put a photograph on, but it's really.
I think you should do print. I think you should do mini. I'd buy that as a little print.
Oh, bless you.
I would. I'd love that.
I don't know. It just could express something that I wasn't.
You can't express verbally.
Yeah,
and that's the magic of art, I think. And for those for those of us who might not ever paint or sculpt or I don't know, whatever your a medium you might choose, to look at something, you will never know exactly what the artist intended, or maybe didn't even intend, like, properly thinking about it. Things come out. It's like when we dissect a play or a novel, you won't exactly be able to say what the author was intending. But that's the brilliance of art, because it does create discussion. It creates thought and thinking about things that are within us or other people's way of looking at things, or hits an emotion that you didn't know was there. And that's when it's lovely to go and look at pieces of art and stand and see what you feel. What do they make you feel? Because I think that is art, isn't it? What's it communicating to you personally? It doesn't matter if it's different to what the man standing next to you looking at the same painting. It's going to be different because it's connecting to your own experience and your own emotions. So that's why it is for everybody, because there is no right or wrong way of looking at, and that's something I think is a bit tricky about galleries for me sometimes, because I'm like, what am I meant to be thinking about this? But actually it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it says on the little square beneath with all the writing on it. What matters is how it's making me feel, compared to, it doesn't matter what anybody else is thinking about it. It's not right or wrong how I feel about something.
No, it's not, and it's what it's communicating to you personally based on your life experiences, your preferences. And last May, my dad and my children and I went to a Pre-Raphaelite exhibition. My dad's heavily into Pre-Raphaelites.
I love Pre-Raphaelites,
and I really like the Pre-Raphaelites a lot. And I've always bought him prints and books. Years ago, I used to buy him all that. Now I just buy him a single malt for every birthday and every Christmas and Father's Day. He's easy, single malt. The exhibition, I've always loved the work. My favourite one, and I cannot remember the name of it, is a woman and she's got dark hair, but it's against an orange background and it's almost sort of slightly incomplete.
Esther is talking about a painting by Dante Gabriele Rossetti, La Donna della Finestra, The Lady of Pity, a striking portrait of Rossetti's muse, Jane Morris, from 1881. Unfinished due to Rossetti's sudden death.
Going round and reading what the artist intended, I mean, they were socialists, weren't they? And it's so fascinating. And there was one painting that was about a woman that had come back to town but had to become a prostitute to survive, and how she was being treated within the town. And my God, I was so fascinated by it and the humanness of that. And it really has made me want to learn more about the Pre-Raphaelites, and I could admire the way. And my daughter really likes it as well. And she asked my father for a big print for her bedroom.
Oh, lovely.
Is it Persephone or something like that? The pomegranate or something like that. Anyway, she's got that in her room.
Ella's favourite Pre-Raphaelite painting is also by Rossetti. It is entitled Proserpine. Painted in 1874, although he did at least 8 separate versions, the painting is again of Jane Morris, this time as the Roman goddess Proserpina, who lives in the underworld during winter.
I actually did work for an art publisher years ago. I worked for an art publisher for 2 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I stopped acting, and I really, it was really annoying because I got a very good agent, but reality television was kicking in and I was just doing less jobs, and I really wanted to get a house with my husband and my boyfriend at the time and just move out. And I got a job so I was the internal sales manager for the Southeast at a big, I mean, they represented Mackenzie Thorpe and like big people that they represented. And so I was sometimes talking with these artists, and it was really interesting, and I really enjoyed talking with people about art. But it was a really good job, actually. I enjoyed it. But it's interesting what people like and what people don't like. I'm really interested in what appeals to different people.
Yeah.
CJ, thanks for popping in. We adore your new exhibition. It's absolutely divine. So raw, so brushy, so painted.
Thank you, Sandra. It's incredibly personal, so I'm really glad it resonates with you.
Shh. We feel it. It's giving pain. It's giving trauma. It's giving beige with intent. There's just one tiny hitch, darling, but don't worry, we've brainstormed a few tweaks.
Tweaks to what?
The title, Still Life with Ache.
It's not exactly commercial.
It wasn't meant to be commercial.
But imagine this. Paint me like one of your existential crises.
That doesn't even make sense.
Or brushstrokes and breakdown. Bit edgy, bit sexy.
That completely misses the point of the work.
Okay. What about, excuse me, I arted.
You're joking.
The canvas of my mind is mostly beige.
I'm begging you to stop.
Picasso in the streets, Monet in the sheets.
That's offensive to everyone.
Ooh, what about get abstract or die trying?
I'm leaving.
Wait! Paint it bleak! Oh, come on, CJ!
I need a curator who understands the emotional weight of my work.
We do, darling, truly. There's a lot of sadness in your stuff. It's a bit depressing, really. We just want to shush it up.
And I want you to walk into the Tate and stay there until you've learned something.
Ooh, performance piece.
Goodbye, Sandra.
Bit tense, but I like it.
While we've continued talking about this for a few more minutes, I think it'd be nice if we drew each other.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be terrible, but to kind of do a little sketch of each other.
Okay. Yeah.
In whatever,
I've got a black fountain pen. I don't know how well that's going to work.
Well, I've got a pencil.
Okay,
So
I'm not a good drawer.
I've got a lot. Well, it doesn't have to be realistic necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, whatever you feel. So yeah, and what the taste of the moment is,
Yeah.
and things like that, because it's, I suppose, as in fashion, and things go in and out of fashion, don't they?
Yeah.
Artwork, and I've no idea, but I suppose things like the pre-Raphaelites, those pictures will always be, why is the Mona Lisa so kind of
Yes.
revered? And
What's your favourite sort of artwork?
Do you know, I actually really, I know this could sound ridiculous, but I do love the art, Nadia Attura's.
Yes.
And we will post some things of hers on Instagram, but it's so vibrant. I suppose I either like vibrancy and things that transport me somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere that I'd want to be. Actually, that's what she sort of says that she'd like her artwork to do, isn't it? Or I love classical things, I suppose, like the pre-Raphaelites, and they are beautiful. They're beautiful. Yeah. They're unachievable. They're not normal. They're not like my normal life. And these beautiful women and clothes, and there's texture in them.
Yeah.
Richness. Yeah. I love pictures of the sea.
Yes.
I love a bit of Turner.
Yes. Turner,
sea
of course,
and
in
boats.
Whitstable.
Yes.
Went to Whitstable to paint a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I like things that make me go, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like real modern art stuff. Things that are interesting. Multimedia things.
What do you mean by multimedia?
I suppose when people mix video footage or things that wouldn't necessarily be art, the materials that might be different.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Actually, I remember seeing this fantastic. Well, I like Anthony Gormley's things, but there was another artist whose name I will find. I'll go and find it. But I went to see the exhibition twice. It was in Edinburgh, and he made these incredibly lifelike, larger than life or smaller than life versions of people. They were incredible, and so you kind of wish they'd come to life. I will check who it is and I'll put some pictures on, but they were sort of like giant versions of real people, and so realistic, unbelievably realistic. And I loved it so much I took members of my family to go and see it as well.
Susie is referring to the work of Ron Mueck, an Australian sculptor. Mueck's sculptures are all of the human figure, some smaller than life-size, some larger. In them, he aims to capture the feeling of key moments in our passage through life. With their uncanny realism and minute detail, Mueck shocks us into reassessing ourselves.
I don't know, everything. It's hard, isn't it? To
I'm quite drawn to pictures of the sea, and I'm quite drawn to quite dreamlike things. I quite like impressionist work, and I have got a painting downstairs that I bought in Whitstable years ago. And I don't know who the artist is, but it's almost like people dancing, but it's in rich colours, and there are splashes of gold in it, and I feel quite transported by it. So things that are sort of a bit dreamlike that I can read stuff into, I really like. Or things that make me laugh. I actually bought a couple of paintings from a woman when I worked for the art publishers called Sarah Jane Sikora, and they are quite funny. They're sort of like, they're very sort of sweet, romantic pictures, but it'll be sort of like, oh, there was one that I bought that were two very, very fat people giving each other a kiss, but they were so lovely, and it was so warm and comforting, and it had a lovely title about being in love with somebody, and it just really spoke to me. So something that had a bit of comedy in it. I'm interested in.
Do you like the seaside postcard kind of?
I know what you mean. I suppose they have got an element of that. I mean, I bought them about 20 years ago when I worked at the art publishers, but yeah, I suppose they do have that kind of feel to them. I probably wouldn't buy that now, but I did like them. But anything that I tell you whose work I like. Who I saw, I went to a National Trust and they had a display of his work. Grayson Perry.
Oh yes, I went to see an exhibition of his recently.
So fantastic, and there was, and it's the rich characters who are from real life that are in it. You know what I mean? These unusual people. It's almost like I don't know. It's almost like an Alan Bennett play in art. I just love it. I just love his work. So I've actually got a book on his work. Stuff that transports me, makes me laugh, or makes me sort of get absorbed in that. I mean, I wish I could draw. I once drew a very good picture of Jemima Puddle when I was 6 years old, and I peaked, and then I've never been able to draw anything since.
I drew a Doc Martin boot once. That was really good. Yeah, at school. I think I've kept it.
Oh,
I mean, this is just. It's
mine's awful, Susie. I'm so sorry.
Mine's awful, and I don't want you to be offended.
I don't want you to be offended.
That's the problem, isn't it? Because if you're trying to draw somebody else,
it doesn't look anything like you.
Really? Well, look, it's a sort of.
Well, it kind of does.
I mean, what's so fascinating is I've just rubbed out your chin. I mean, what I'm finding is, I can't really make you look. I can't really make you look like you actually look. But
no,
I've sort of rubbed out your chin and put a different shape, and it was like it to completely. It's sort of amazing how that can make somebody look so different. I mean, that's far better.
I've done mine in fountain pen, so what I've done is sort of committed. I started doing your
you haven't got the opportunity to. I mean, I'm struggling with the mouth. I think mouths probably are.
Yeah, and noses. I mean, how good a radio does this make, Suze? I don't know.
Well, we're talking at the same time. I mean, I think we should probably finish now, but I don't know. It looks like somebody. It looks like somebody, but I don't know if it looks like you.
This doesn't look like you.
That's the thing. I haven't quite. Right,
Susie, I'm sorry.
I love it. I really love it. Oh, that's so good. See, mine's very.
Oh my God, yours is mine looks like Charles Hawtrey.
He was always my favourite. Carry on
as well, Charles Hawtrey,
the little guy.
Oh.
What was going? Who does yours look like?
Lovely. Mine looks beautiful. Charles. Oh, Suze, thank you. Crikey. Yours is, I'm so sorry.
There is an element of you there, isn't there?
I mean, that's gorgeous. I'm very flattered, and I'm sorry.
Look, hold it up. Hold it up. Now you go up. You go. Hang on, because I'm putting on in a massive book.
I'm very flattered by that. I look about 15. I'll take that. You look like, you do look like Charles Hawtrey. That's hilarious.
I love it. Can I have it?
Yes, of course.
Shall we send these to each other?
Yes, I'll photograph it and then I'll send it to you. And then
I'm going to send you the full. I'm going to send you the finished thing. Well, I'm not going to do any more to it because it will ruin it.
But also, like that now, I've got pin boards up in my office, and that will go as like a little piece of art. And it's little things like that as
It's
well.
actually
isn't it,
quite
Fran?
sweet. I think
It's
it's
really
like a young
sweet.
version of you with the modern headphones. The headphones kind of ruin it, really.
Wow, I'm happy about
I
that,
didn't pay much
Suze.
attention to the headphones.
I mean, they're huge, but that's fine. They're fine. I mean,
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that is me. I mean, that is me.
it is.
And it's so nice that it's in a sort of cartoonish style.
Yes, I'm not a drawer, but the freedom of
I loved
painting.
it. I loved it. Well, I'm looking forward to everybody hearing our chat with Nadia, because she speaks so beautifully about what she does and what her inspiration is and what art is, far better than we can describe it. But I hope you've enjoyed that, everybody. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed thinking about art and having lots of images flashing through my head.
Yes.
And I enjoyed creating a version of you.
Yes, and I love your version of me. She's about 15 years younger than me. And I'm sorry for your version.
No, I love it. I can't tell you how much I love that. It's just so... I think that is my essence.
You're a camp carry-on star from the 70s.
If only. Well, I might do some more. I might do some more art after that and just have a go.
And I might not draw anything again, but I might get the paints out again.
You should do that for everybody. That would be a really good birthday card.
Here's my carry-on interpretation of you.
Yes, it's perfect. You make a lot of money.
I'd be Barbara Windsor.
You as a carry-on character, that's absolutely ideal.
Fabulous. Well, listen to Nadia next. She's wonderful and terribly inspiring.
And actually talented at art.
Actually talented at art.
I hope they've stopped trying to remember things now, and may the gods of memory help all those in perimenopause.
I'm here at Morph's Revenge, the new art gallery in town with owner and artist Susie Riddell.
Thanks so much for coming. It's an honour to have such a distinguished art collector and broadcaster here.
Oh, I'm blushing. I love what you've done with this place. You can barely tell it used to be a fishmonger's. Can you talk us through some of your artworks?
With pleasure.
It's so original. What do you call this one?
That's just an unwashed coffee cup.
No, just Susie. It's a work of art.
It's a coffee cup.
Talented and modest.
This one, striking sculpture.
That's my dad.
Wonderful. Is he still with us?
Yes, he's literally right there.
Very good. Art truly imitating life.
Susie, why is that woman staring at me?
OMG, this is the one.
Oh yes, I love that painting. It depicts...
Not the painting, the provocative and extremely realistic half-eaten packet of biscuits in a plastic bag.
Dad, I told you to put your biscuits somewhere else.
You know what? I'd like to buy it.
Dad, your biscuits can stay.
And I'd like to buy your dad too.
But he's actually a real...
I'll give you £20,000 for it.
Fine, he's all yours.
I'll be back with the removal van later.
I'm taking the biscuits with me.
How I know an internationally renowned artist.
Yes. Internationally renowned actors.
Well, I mean, that's stretching it, really. I think, nationally sort of known if you listen to The Archers.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
all this podcast.
Yes.
The artists know, oh God, you're going on the show. Yeah, I'm not going on The Archers. Being
Well, you never know after this. Nadia.
yes.
This could be the stepping stone with...
Today's guest is Nadia Attura, an award-winning fine art photographer known for her evocative, layered landscapes and unmistakable visual style. From a young age, Nadia knew she wanted to be an artist, a deep inner calling that never left her. But it was the birth of her daughter that became the true turning point, inspiring her to fully commit to her artistic path and make creativity her reality. That powerful sense of purpose has shaped everything since. Working with analogue and digital processes, Nadia creates richly textured scenes that transport the viewer into a world of colour, emotion and memory. Her unique work has attracted a loyal following, including celebrity clients, and has been exhibited internationally and featured in major collections. We talked to Nadia about what drives her creativity, how becoming a mother fueled her artistic ambition, her process from inspiration to finished piece, and the deep why behind everything she makes. Welcome to the show, Nadia Attura.
You are basically a jet setter, a jet-setting, internationally renowned artist, which is very exciting to be able to say.
Yes, from Penge.
From Penge.
From Penge-sur-Mer.
Okay. Yes.
So thank you so much for giving us some of your
Thank you
time
for
today.
asking me. Thank you. And it's nice to pause as well, because I'm moving house, and it's just nice to think, okay, I'm doing something else now. I'm having a conversation, and got a cup of tea, a bit of water. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
We can be grounded and talk about things that ground us, I suppose, and creativity, which I'm thrilled to be able to talk to you about. I think ever since we had a very brief conversation in your studio, and we need to talk about your art, of course, and how you create. But I think the reason particularly I wanted to get you on the podcast is because we had a conversation about creativity, being a creative, and when creativity is your job, and how do you manage that when you're self-employed and you're working from home, and there are lots of other things, pulls on your time. And I really saw you as quite inspirational that day, because I was sort of saying, oh God, well, I end up doing everything at like 11 o'clock at night because I'm doing the kids, and then I've got to go shopping and blah, 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 blah. And I remember you said to me that you create first and foremost.
Yes, for me, that's because then I wake up really excited, and I've got all these ideas, and I can't wait to come in the studio to put all the work together, and it really excites me, so that after at the end, rather than having the reward at the end, thinking, oh God, I've got to wait, I've got to do admin, I've got to do all these things, wake up excited, and it just sort of sets you up for the day. And then I think if you compartmentalize all the admin and all those jobs into like, okay, I'm going to hyper focus for 1 hour and that's it, then I can do it, because I think, okay, limited time only to do it. Whereas if I had, if I had the whole day, I would start off doing the admin and I'd be 5 hours down the line, doing it, still churning, going, oh my God, this is endless. This is just doesn't end. So yes, that's why I do it in the morning. And I just find, like today, sun's out, had a nice coffee, taken Sophia to school, I've had that walk, and then I'm just ready to prepare, and it's nice. That for me works. Yeah.
So how many hours do you dedicate? Is it the whole morning, sort of 9 till 12 after school drop off, or?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, it depends on how much, like at the moment I've got a lot of admin, because I'm going to Dallas, I'm going to Austin, I'm going to New York, I've got the shows, I've got sales online, I've just come back from Yorkshire, so I'm a bit behind as well, and packing the house. So I can't do as much creating at the moment because I've got so many. I mean, I'm wrapping, because I've got my stuff in 2 different storages. I've got to wrap, apparently, all of my leather upholstery furniture, because in the storage place, you're not allowed to have open pores.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
So it's a lot. But
it is, yeah. And
you are, I would say, I think, from the outside, very prolific in terms of your artistic output. You
I'd like to be more. I mean, I think having my mum here meant that in the morning I would have to have the hour of coffee with her, and often she wasn't here because she'd go, I'm just going to the loo, and then she goes to the loo, and then like sort of 20 minutes later I'm like tapping on my card, and we go for an hour, and then she sit down and she go, oh, just got to go back, and then you're sort of waiting and thinking, oh my gosh, and then I give that hour to her in the morning, so things like that. So that's changed now, so I will have more time to create, but I've got deadlines, because when I have a show I've got to produce new work for the show, I've got commissions as well, so it's constantly like spinning plates. That's what I feel like I'm doing,
because your mum's been living with you, hasn't she?
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing, isn't it? I know before we came on we were sort of talking about the fact of, I love that you do the creative stuff first thing in the morning and you prioritize that, because I often do the admin stuff, and I know I probably shouldn't do it that way, but it's almost like a weight in my head. But then when you've got children or animals and parents, and I think it's so brilliant that you do that, but obviously you've still got to give time to all these things, haven't you? And there just aren't quite enough hours in the day.
No, there isn't. No, but I can't do the thing that Susie does, where you work at night, because I'm so tired at night and I'm so frazzled that I can't create. Like the most pleasurable part of my day, I can't dedicate good time to it. So it's now I think, I haven't done my best. Whereas in the morning, I'm ready.
You're a lark.
Best, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I do the all that stuff at night, and then the whole day is a complete write-off, and I'm a grumpy, horrible cow. and the admin just takes me twice as long. We basically need to be more Nadia. This is
Yes.
what I'm.
And I love the fact that you were saying as well, you do the creative stuff, you wake up excited, you get straight on with the creative stuff, and then you get the admin done in an hour. And I'm exactly the same as you. If I've got admin to do and I start with it, it takes me all bloody day. But if I go, oh, I've done all the creative stuff and now I've got the admin, I can bash it out really quickly because there's no sort of
that hyper
I'll just scroll or I'll just do this or
because it's so tedious, the admin. And then I do find I'm like, oh, just check this email, do that. Oh, that's that one. I'm looking at my phone as well because I'm trying to take away from the tedium of the admin. Anything, and I'm easily distracted as well. Whereas if I just have that hour at the end of the day, I have to be on it.
To be creative as a job, and what you do is absolutely, it's creative. It's from your heart and your head. I mean, we should talk about your let's talk about your art, to kick off as well, because it's unique. It is world renowned. It's very coveted. I mean, we randomly met a couple in a pub, and they were the lady was an artist and mentioned, I think which artist do I know? Nadia Attura. That's about it. And I mentioned you, and she was just clearly quite starstruck. So you are renowned, and so I would love to. It's hard to explain, I suppose, but what do you do? What is your art?
Oh, yeah. So, gosh.
Sorry.
The technical. Is that I go on locations around the world. And I take photographs and then I recreate those. So I take elements of the landscape. So there'll be the trees, the shadows, the plants, all sort of aspects of the animals. And then I come home to London, Penge, or Beckenham, and I recreate. So I sort of submerge myself back in that place. So I make these collages. So I add like 150, 200 photographs into a collage. Sort of fantasy, reality, and I just take myself on a journey, and then I print those out, and then to those I draw and I add chalk and pencil, crayons, and then I re-photograph those things. I scan them, and then I put them back onto the original collage, and then I let some bits show that are painted, I let some photographic bits show, and then I have a final piece that feels more like how I felt when I was there. So a bit of fantasy, a bit of reality, but just that sort of journey of me being there, kind of recreating it and making it alive again. That's what I do. Yeah.
Wow, how do you do that? How do you make it feel like you felt when you were there? Is it just a feeling of the colours, or is it just this just feels right? This is what I can't articulate.
I can't. Yes. You're right. I can't articulate. It's that feeling. So when I'm layering up all of the different vegetation and the animals, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'd like a little jaguar in there. Oh yeah, because when I was there, I always sort of imagined there'd be some sort of eyes just peering out, and I've got to have a flamingo in there, just sort of like, and all the animals are vegan in my work, so they're not, they're just interested in love and harmony, and and being kind to each other. So it's a very safe place. I just want to create that feeling of tranquility and calm, and I always put, usually, because I don't usually do it in the cactus, but I always hide a bird somewhere, because if there are birds there, then everything's all right, because birds are the first things that, if there's going to be, sort of bad weather or earthquakes and things, they're the first ones to know they're away. But when they're there, it is happy. And so I sort of add a bird in, just so, it's all calm and, so love.
Yeah. From seeing your artwork and spending time looking at it, it does fit. You do completely you almost pulled into the image, because it's not 3D, but they almost feel 3D, because I suppose it's that layering aspect.
The layering and feeling almost like a stage, like a backdrop, like there's all different aspects of the stage coming in, that kind of layering, and almost looking like it's a little bit of a canvas background as well, so it does feel theatrical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like it's hyper, is it hyper reality? Is that?
Maximalism, hyper
Yeah.
reality.
And vibrancy of the colours.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, they're often, would you say, quite exotic
Yeah,
places?
tropical, exotic, yes. Because there's Asia, there's South Africa, the Americas, so there's subtropical, tropical places, but also even visiting places like Kew Gardens. I go there and I submerge myself in the nature there, and I create quite a few works from there because it's on our doorstep, and
Yeah.
especially during lockdown as well, when we could travel, that was a great place to feel like, oh, I'm in Australia, I'm in Asia. It's
Yes.
yeah.
And then once you've finished the piece and it's in someone else's on someone else's wall, then you've taken that person to those places as well, which is really quite magical, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, hopefully, yeah. That's the goal as well. I sort of do it for myself, and it's just a bonus that other people love it as well, and it gives them the same feelings of calm and joy, and they're like little windows. Oh, well, some of them are big. Like they're windows onto. Feels like it's your garden. Yes, I always tell people, if you've got black frame windows, have a black frame, because then it looks like it's another window in your living room. It just feels that. And green, there are so many variations of green as well. It's a really exciting colour for the eye. I think it has more colour variations than any other colour. It's the one colour that we see more of. I think it's sort of instinctive from our DNA, sort of being in nature. We've had to be hyper alert and look at our surroundings. So green are one of those colours that just feels very rich, and there are so many variations of it. So
yeah.
How did you arrive at this point, creating these pieces of work, sort of bringing in travel and art, but also the fact that what you're trying to achieve with the art and what you're communicating is safety as well, that you've got these birds in, and it's so beautiful. How did you end up at this point?
Gosh, that my process was, every single step of my process has all been an accident, every single aspect of it, and just learning from my mistakes. So when I was a photographer, I'd gone to India and I'd done some work there, and spent a couple of months, and then I had my negatives, which I had developed there. And they came back, and oh my God, they were troughed. Oh my God, they were awful. So when I printed them out, I was like, oh God. And there was sort of ghosting on it. There were spots everywhere. So I was having to hand paint all of the elements in there that weren't there. So that's how it started. And then I was printing out thinking, oh, it looks quite nice, actually. It actually looks nicer with the little bits of painted aspects. And it looks a bit more dreamy, and kind of even looks like how it was when I was there. And I don't know what they'd done, but some of the negatives had squashed together, or maybe it was me not rolling on because it was a big camera. And then there was like multiple images on top, and I thought, oh, well, that's lovely. That's, I'll work with that. It wasn't like, I'll rip it up and I hate it. So that's how I started, just sort of layering things up. And then it went from not just purely photographic, but now it's more painted as well. And that was all by mistake. Like my cutting out in Photoshop is not very good. So they'd print them out and I go, oh my God, you can see the lines and everything. I was like, better paint around that, better hide it. So that's how, it was just all mistakes.
That's amazing, isn't it?
So
learning
cool.
from the mistakes and things,
And that's absolute confirmation that you need to make mistakes, and you need to fail in inverted commas.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's incredible. That's really a brilliant story.
And build up on all the failures as well, because then you'll get to somewhere that's more unique and more you, because I mean, I fail at something every day, but then I learn something every day as well. There's always like, as a mum, fail, another fail, but you just sort of work through it, and
And what was the point when you'd made a piece that you thought, I want other people to see this, when you'd got to a point where you were layering in pictures and painting it on? And
well, so when Sophia was born, so I was working as a press photographer. I was in press and PR. So just when we knew that we were expecting Sophia, I promised her when she was in the tummy, I said, by the time you're 5, I will be an artist, and I will support us by what I do, and we'll be in a field, and you'll be 5, and I'll be working as an artist, and I will support you. And I promised her, because I thought, and I had promised myself, and nothing ever came of it. I voiced it to her, I know it sounds really weird, but I said, I'm promising you this, that I will be authentic, and I'll be the person who I am, and I will use. And so I just worked really hard. Just really worked hard. Like that first year, I think the first 2 years, I was still doing photography. And I remember one time I had a show, because I'd started working as an artist. I had a show, and it was in Bristol. And then the very next morning, I had to shoot in Birmingham, actually, for the Royal Pharmaceutical Society, and I completely forgot. So I had to do it. So I was driving through the night thinking, oh my God, I can't do this. But I managed to, and then I had to go and get someone to man my stand in Bristol, and so I was working with the two, but it was unsustainable, because then the art really started to take off, because I got into the Royal Academy. So that brought a massive audience.
Amazing.
And it was just, and just being in the Royal Academy was this, with all this art, and just consumed by the energy. I mean, I love the Royal Academy, and I love that show. And to be there as well, it was amazing. And that's what really, that was in 2016. So I'd been doing it for about a year. And that kicked it off. And then I got into the other art show, which are the people I still work, and they're great. They're really supportive. They're the ones that I go around the world with. And and I remember it was at the Royal Academy, this one client contacted me and said, I can't buy this print, and it's sold out. And then she said, so I've looked on your line, and then I saw the order come through, and she bought 19 pieces of work. I was like, oh my God. And so this lovely client in Austria, she bought 19. And that was because of the Royal Academy.
Oh my God. And what you were saying about promising your daughter and doing it for your daughter actually made me feel quite teary, because
I could tell.
think
I knew. I looked at Esther. I thought she was going to go.
Oh God. Because I just think sometimes it's hard to do things for yourself. But and I'll say this to Susan, I've said it to loads of people, but if you flip it, what would you do for your children? It's so incentivizing. Like, would you tell your children to do this, or stay in this position, or do that? And so to know you're doing it for your children is such a driving force. But to achieve that in such a short period of time, oh my God, that's insane.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, 19 pieces of work at the Royal Academy. I mean, my God.
Yeah.
So and that was in 2016.
Yes.
So you'd only been creating these particular pieces. I know you'd been a photographer for a while, and obviously creating art in that way, but that your complete and utter unique creation, and you've been only doing that for a year, and you got into the Royal Academy, which for those people who don't know, could you tell us about the Royal Academy and what a big deal that is?
I think it's the longest running open submission. So you've had all the greats from the 19th and 20th century getting their works in, and it's open. So they have something like 12,000 submissions to the Royal, and then they choose. I don't know how many they choose, but they fill up with the walls. Oh gosh, I don't want to say a number.
A fraction of that.
Fraction. Yeah. It's 10% of that. That's
good.
It. Yeah,
Lord.
Yeah.
Right.
And so now I've been shortlisted. So 2 of my works have been shortlisted for this year. So fingers crossed that one or both of them get in, or anyway, and that'll be great.
People obviously go physically and look at the work, but can people view the exhibition on? It's the summer exhibition, isn't it? The Royal Academy. Yeah. And people view it online as well.
Yeah. People buy online. Yeah, most of the sales I think come from online. Yes, they do. Yeah, because there's some people that are, in Australia and things that buy them.
So it's a worldwide audience.
Yes, yeah, it is. People in America know it, and I think it's. It gets a big trashing in the press. I have to say, the Guardian are a bit funny about it.
Oh, that surprises me.
I know. But it's all opinion, isn't it? But it's a great show. I love it. It's my favourite show. I have to say. I don't have favourites. Shouldn't say that. But it's got the. It's absolutely got the kudos. It's a wonderful building. I'm just thinking, because they do have a young artist exhibition, which I also think is wonderful, and it gives young people the opportunity to submit work, and even just the thought that your work's been looked at by a professional
a curator or an artist, and considered for a young person who loves art. It's just wonderful.
And they get to come down and they get to visit, and there's a day for them as well. It's really lovely. But my cousin's daughter got in. She's also called Sophia. She got in 2 years ago,
Wow.
and it was just the highlight for her coming down to London from Yorkshire and visiting the show. And then she got a special. She got most inspiring piece of work. So
Wow.
£50 for her and £500 for her school for the art department. And it was a beautiful piece of work.
Wow, she takes after her auntie then.
Yeah.
Are you a family of artists? Are your parents artists?
I think my dad used to take photographs in the 60s, but they were of naked ladies. I don't know.
For pleasure or work?
It was a pleasure for him. I've got an uncle that's a painter. Well, great uncle. Yeah, and my granddad used to paint bits and pieces in Rome. Yeah, just like, bit of Michelangelo's fallen off, I'll just paint it in. But, he'd be going around the churches painting things in. But I think, traditionally, it's, I know you've got to, you've got to go to work, you've got to be a nurse, or you've got to work in hospitality. It's very much, I think it's just my generation where we've been allowed the luxury of, oh God, what would it be? Well, things like the internet. I mean, if I didn't have the internet, I don't know if I'd be able to do what I do. We're a different generation. I think we've been able to make different jobs happen and be our own bosses, maybe. Yeah.
How's the internet affected you?
So when lockdown happened, all the galleries shut down. So all my work came into the house. It filled up the entire living room. And I was like, how the hell am I going to sell my work? There's no one on the high street that can sell it. Traditionally, that's where people go to buy the work, or all the fairs had stopped. No one's seeing my work. So that was 2020. So I've been doing it then for like 5 years. So I started, Instagram. So I was putting those support the artist pledges, spend £200, then you would someone buy a piece of work, and then you'd spend that money on another. So it kind of went round and round, not like a pyramid scheme, but it was, So I got this audience, and then suddenly everyone was buying from me. So that was like, it was incredible. It was just incredible what was happening. Everybody was at home. They had a blank wall behind them. They wanted a piece of art. They weren't going on holiday. A lot of people had more of a disposable income because of that whole travel thing that didn't happen.
Yes.
So they were like, well, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to buy, I'm indoors all the time. I'm going to put a bit of art up, and I want a bit of green. And so it just took off then. And that was the power of the internet. That was just, having an audience that's worldwide because of the internet. And then the trust that people give you, because they're spending thousands of pounds basically an image that on a computer screen, but we've got to that point where there's so much trust in what we see, and someone that's being sort of recognized producing work, that they'll buy it, which really, it's just incredible. It's lovely.
And you've got the creative control as well, haven't you? That's the thing. You're not having to sell through somebody. You can do it directly, which is good.
Yeah.
I know that you mentioned the other art fair. That's what it's called, isn't it?
The other art fair.
And that you travel around the world. I mean, when I look at Instagram, I'm like, oh, Nadia's in Brooklyn. Oh, she's in Los Angeles. I'm just like, I know her. She's so cool. Yes. And tell us a bit about that, because that opportunity to travel the world, and I presume you get to, I don't know how much time you have out there, but whether you get to go and do a bit of your own work and photographing.
Last year, it was LA at the end of September, and New York in sort of late October, but it's meant to be November. But they put the shows together, and I thought, well, there's no point in me going to LA, then coming back, then going to New York with this 1 week of a window. And then plus I had to do a commission from Texas. And I was like, well, I'll just stay for the whole month. So I did. And two of my friends they were basically showing in LA, then they were showing in New York, and they were going to drive. And I was like, can I come? So we did this tour through the southern states. So went through Arizona, Texas, New Orleans, and then back up through the, I'm not going to say the Dolomites, they're not called the Dolomites, they're the Appalachians, and then through Amish places, and then into New York. And it was just an epic. We did 3,777 miles. And it was just an opportunity because I was traveling with these two artists, and it was just a great, great adventure that we had. I mean, it was a lot of driving, and then because we're artists, as soon as we're there, like cameras out, sketchbooks out, it's very, and then come back, admin, sleep, and then we go off on our next bit. But we're just so wired, and this sort of joy of taking in the landscape and looking at things and getting obsessed with leaves and colour, and look at those two colours together. It was just such a joy to be on this adventure with them, and that was afforded because we were doing the other art fair, and logistically we had this huge car that was jam-packed full of all of our arts, and it was great. It was a fantastic road trip.
That's so wonderful.
When you were a little girl, were you into art?
Yes, massive art and travel. So I just like loved any art related programs. So David Attenborough, anything to do with nature, anything to do with travel, any travel documentary. I was such a not so much sort of films and sort of kiddies TV things. It was more about putting myself off somewhere and traveling, armchair traveling, if you like. So, and I always thought one day I'm going to buy a camper van and go around the world. That was my dream, and drawing. Yeah, and I was always drawing and painting, and and I want to do this, but Mum was like, "Well, you can't do that. You can't get a proper job."
Did you originally pursue a different career, or did you go straight?
No, it was always art. Yeah, but I did drop out of art school when I was about 18, 19. I was going out way too much, and then I started working at the weekends, and I started working in the evenings, and I was like, I've got no time to study, and I was like, I'll park that for a bit. So then I did lots of jobs, worked, went out, enjoyed London, and then it was when I was in my late 20s, I was like, okay, I've got to get serious. I've got to go back to art school and finish this off. So yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing that you've managed to combine those two loves.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's amazing. It really is inspirational.
I was doing corporate work for a long time as well, which was, and that was sort of bread and butter. And that's what I thought I had to do, because I didn't think that I could make art and live. And that is to do with the internet. Because by then, it's just really in the last 10 years that we've had this sort of autonomy that we can use the time and promote ourselves and show ourselves and reach a wide audience because of the internet.
Do you think? I mean, do you think art and buying art has increased in the wider public since lockdown, perhaps, or? I mean, because I suppose it is a difficult industry to be in.
Yeah.
Because it's like the creative arts are, you're relying on, I suppose, other people to be interested.
Yeah.
And it's very much a solo kind of.
And it's a luxury.
Project. Yeah.
It's not something you need. So it depends on how the governments are behaving, and if there is enough money as a collective population. I mean, I think the rich people will always be rich and always be able to have that luxury, because it is a luxury. Art, theatre, it's not when you're penny pinching, it's the first thing that goes, isn't it? Otherwise you're looking for your bargains and things. So I am reliant on a certain client, but I don't want to be. I want to be reliant on have a wider audience and people that are able to afford, work. So that's really important. And so politically, I'm doing well. My trajectory is constant and growing, which is really good. But it's volatile. Who knows? All the stuff that's going on in America, all these tariffs. How is that going to? It isn't affecting art at the moment, but at some point it will. So just got to keep my eye out.
Yeah, and things like the other art fair, and there's the affordable art fair, isn't there, as well?
Yes, that's how I got my gallery with Will's Art. Yes.
Oh right.
Yeah. They spotted me on the street. So I do urban art in Brixton, and I was there, and that was 2015. And the gallery manager then was called Rachel, and she was, she was living in Brixton, and she'd seen the show, and she made a note of my work as someone to watch. So she watched me growing, and then she asked me, in fact it was 2020 lockdown, to show at the affordable, So yeah, I did, and they have been a massive as well for me. The gallery, and now it's Pixie's the gallery manager, and she's fantastic. And they also have got a big audience for me. They go to New York, Austin, and the Singapore, Hong Kong. So they have a big audience as well. And they commissioned the Affordable Art Fair commissioned me to do their 25-year anniversary print. Which was incredible honour. To do, and yeah, I loved, and that was a screen print, so it was working differently, and
you can see that on I can see it in my head. It's very vibrant pink, and
yes,
is it silver or
silver? Yeah, it's the blue, sort of Prussian blue. Yeah, it's
and the botanical influence. It's beautiful.
I went up to Scotland, well, just on the borders, it's near Alnwick Castle, to photograph the thistles there, because I wanted them to be off there, because the owner, Will Ramsey, is from Scotland, so I wanted to get as close as possible. And the thistle's beautiful, so I wanted to add in little elements of him as well. And
and those art fairs that are less exclusive, they're a good way for people who maybe don't own any art and perhaps want to get into it.
Yes. Well, I used to go there just as just to be inspired, really, to look at all the artwork and go, oh God, that's lovely. But I never imagined in a million years that my art would ever be seen or shown in places like this. It was like, oh, I'm not good enough for this. And it was a friend of mine, Lena, who I'd bought a print from, and she said, why don't you try showing? And I was like, don't be stupid. And she was like, go on, just show your work. And so I timidly did, and I did well at the Urban Art Fair in Brixton, and then she said, apply for the other art fair, and I was like, don't be stupid, my artwork's not good enough. And she said, just do it, you never know. And I didn't get in, and I got put on a wait list. And Sophia was 1 year old, and we'd done a road trip to America. We were there for a month. And then I got this email saying someone had dropped out, so there's space available in 2 weeks. So and I was still in America. I was like, oh my God. So I had to get back to the UK, shuffle an exhibition together and show. And it did really well. And after that, I've been allowed in.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
If Sophia wanted to pursue art, creative, what would you say to her?
Oh gosh, well, she does art. She does Art K on a Saturday. She loves art. That's for her. She wants to be an artist, but she also wants to use design. She wants to be an art engineer, designer, architect. She wants something, has a bit of maths in it as well, but art she loves. She is, and ever since she was 3 years old, you put a pen and some ink, some colours in front of her, a piece of paper, she's there for hours, concentrated, drawing, and immersing herself in this creative fantasy world, enjoying herself, and I've always encouraged that for her. And she's seen as well how if you do what you love, enjoy what you do as your job, your passion, your time is like, oh my God, where did that go? Because you're immersed and you're loving it, and oh God, what a pleasure. It really is. It really is. It doesn't feel like work. The admin bit does, but it doesn't feel like work.
I think Esther and I would agree in terms of, if you've got something you love doing, it is a pleasure and it doesn't feel like work. And it's almost, sometimes it's hard to actually own that, because we're told that work is hard and that you need to do this many hours and you're going to be, in the suit and going into the office. And actually, when you say to someone, no, it doesn't feel like work, it's I think it's hard to sometimes accept that is your path in a way. I don't know if this is making sense, but it's almost an embarrassment sometimes, I feel, that I literally play for a living. But what we are giving to the world is so invaluable in a way. What you are providing
it is
through your creativity is an incredible thing that is absolutely vital to humanity.
It's soul food.
It is soul food. Have you got anybody you'd ever like to collaborate with, or any future projects that you'd like to do?
Oh gosh. Well, so Lexi, who I'm seeing, Lexi Lane, I'd like to do. We did a collaboration about 2 years ago with Aunt Joy Gallery. They actually paired us up together to do this piece. So she's an underwater photographer.
Wow.
And so we mixed her work, which was underwater, and mine, which was above water, at the same place, because we both had gone to Mexico separately and had shot in this part near Acumal. So she'd gone to the cenotes there with mermaid divers, and I'd gone there on my own through the jungles, and I'd been photographing.
Can I just ask, what are mermaid divers?
So
how do I become one?
do it. So she calls them the mermaids. So she goes underwater. They go underwater with no tanks or anything, and they hold the breath and they stay there. And they're so graceful. I mean, these women are so strong and graceful and majestic, like ballerinas, the way that they pose and dance. And they all get dressed. They get dressed in these beautiful couture outfits and fabrics. And and they're mermaids. They're just go and check out her work. It's stunning.
Yes. I will.
What's it, Lexi?
Lexi Lane.
Okay.
Unfortunately, if my nose goes underwater, I get a nosebleed. So I don't think I'd be that elegant or glamorous in my couture. Just blood coming everywhere. But I do like water. Yes. And I wouldn't say I'm strong and graceful either, but I like the water. So she sounds amazing though.
So how did you combine your work?
Oh, so that way we basically took the top part of mine and took her bit and then put it together. So that was done.
Fantastic.
Well, she actually stitched it all together. So yeah. And so I'd like to do more work like that, but actually go to the same location. So while she's diving, and I could do the top part and put them together. Yeah,
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And do you have other artists that you are inspired by?
There's an artist called Jo de Pere. I love her work. In fact, she's the one, Susie, that when I said that I'd been chatting to you, Susie Riddell, the Archers, as well. I bloody love her. Bloody love her. She's a lovely artist. She does lino cuts. She's in Antigua at the moment.
Oh wow, gorgeous!
And she's become a citizen out there.
Oh really?
And she's creating some lovely work. I love her work. And Dawn Beckles is another art. These are artists that I know, but I love the colours. The way that Dawn puts the colours together is so inspiring.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, I look at a lot of artists that I know. I am on Instagram looking at art all the time. It's my passion to look at art. But I don't know. Oh, God.
No, well, that's great. And it is wonderful to be inspired by your contemporaries, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you inspire them as well.
If a young artist approached you, what would you give them as advice to get into the industry or to pursue it as a career?
Oh gosh, just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Show your work to as many people as you can. I would only so go show at shows, because there'll be people over there that will take you on board, will buy for you, will park you, and a year later say, actually, I'll come back to you because I really like that work, or commission you. So you've just got to show up. You've got to, and that's a lot of hard work, because the shows are hard work, but they are rewarding as well. You've got to be online. You've got to be showing your work. How long it's going to last, I don't know, and I'm sure it's going to change into something else as these things do. But at the moment, I would say do that.
But I did want to ask, because I know that somebody quite famous bought, at least one person that I know of who's very famous, bought some of your artwork in America.
Yes.
Could you tell us who that was? Are you allowed?
Chalamet. Yes.
Timothy Chalamet, guys. Hello, has a Nadia Attura on his wall.
Yes, I met him. Yes, he's lovely. Yeah.
But how did you meet him? Did he come to you?
That was at the other art fair. He came there, and he was with his interior designer. He was with his interior designer, and I thought it was his mum. It was really awful, but he was like wearing a mask, so I couldn't really sit. And I thought, oh, bless him. And I thought, find a piece of work for his bedroom. That's what I was going to say. I didn't know it was him. And he was looking through some stuff, and I was just about to lean forward and say, is that for your bedroom? And I was like, what? And in fact, he bought loads of it. It was for his house in Beverly Hills. buying away, but very nice. I could hear them chatting and stuff, and I was always buying a few pieces.
That's brilliant. And just think of all the celebrities who've seen those pieces of work as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that is just another kind of, star on the cool barometer that I've got for you.
I think it's in Paddington 3.
Really?
What? Tell us more about that.
Yes, one of the bedrooms. I think the Browns' bedroom.
Yes.
The pieces. Yes, they got. I couldn't. And it's going to be in another film this year, but I can't say
Oh,
who it is. But
is it because they go obviously to Peru? Is that is it that tropical link kind of? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, can you? I'm going to have to find the scene.
Me too.
Can
I've watched Paddington 3.
I'll get that information at the end, and then we'll put it on the show notes. That's amazing. And when will you find out about the Royal Academy?
Oh, so my friend Joanna Pear is also shortlisted for the Royal Academy. So she is taking my work as well down there, because I'm in New York when you've got to hand it in.
Oh gosh,
that's the shortlisted. So you've got that, and I think it's a week later. After that, it's really quick. After that, and then it's sort of the first week in June is when they have the varnishing day, which is like the best day of your life ever.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God. It's all the artists that are showing. You go there, you walk around with a drink, and you just stare at all the work. You meet friends that you know. It's just the best day. It is the best. So I hope I get in.
Oh, we do too.
And if I don't, I will visit and just take it all in, because it is.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. And we'll put links to your website and Instagram on the show notes, and we'll put whatever you'd let us show in terms of some of your art on Instagram as well, because it would just be great to have. My aim is to have a Nadia Attura on my wall as well, like Timothée Chalamet.
Yes. We'll do that, Suze. We'll both get one.
It's been lovely to talk to you. It's very inspiring how you speak about making your creativity your life and your motivations for it and inspiration. I knew this was going to be a really special conversation, and you've really surpassed my expectations. So thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing it out of me. It's sometimes hard to articulate something that's visual, and as a creative, you just have to do it, and it comes out. And I'm not a designer, so I don't know what it's going to look like at the start and the finish. I'm an artist. It's just going to go everywhere, and it takes me on that journey, and that's what I love about art. I just don't know what's going to happen at the end of it. Yeah, don't ask me to make a piece that's going to look like that, because I won't. I don't know how I got there. It's just that journey. Yeah.
And that's life, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, don't fight it. Go with the mistakes. You're going to fall. You just have to go with it, don't you? Yeah.
I've found this conversation incredibly inspiring. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
It's lovely to speak to you both as well.
You have been listening to Limited Time Only.
I knew that chatting to Nadia was going to be a lovely experience, because obviously I know her and I've talked to her before, but that really, really was special, and I feel enriched by that experience.
I feel completely inspired by her. She was, and it's her purpose as well, and the fact that she decided one day, she knew she wanted to do this, and then she did it for her daughter. That was so inspiring to me. And her why behind the artwork as well. It's fascinating.
She's got a great, she's a brilliant combination of business acumen and creativity. And I think that is the kind of blessed union that all artists need to aspire to, really, because it's hard when you're, it's hard not to believe that what you do isn't, worth anything, is worth nothing. And Nadia has proved that, well, obviously what she does is worth a great deal to people, from the experience of actually experiencing it, looking at it, having it in their homes, but also the trials and tribulations she goes through to create that work and pour herself into it. And it's the same with all artistic endeavors, I think. If you're going to make them your income, you need to really hold tight to that sense that it's worth something. And I think that's what we're doing, isn't it, Esther?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah, completely. And I think it's really important to, sorry, I was just very conscious, I said absolutely again, and I'm going to try and stop saying absolutely. It threw me out of my own mind.
Embrace absolutely. I knew that's what had happened.
Absolutely. And I do, and I think that, and you're right, and that's what creatives and artists need, is that mix of business acumen and thinking from a business perspective about their work. Because, you know, if an electrician came into your house and did some work, you wouldn't, you know, there's something in the psyche about art that it should be free and you should be grateful because it's a pleasurable thing, but also it's still a job. It's still you know, you're creating something, it's taking your time.
And as much as everybody can be artistic and can be creative, there is a difference between doing that for fun and just having a sort of playing at it, as opposed to making it your life's work and the true, you know, the real talent and the trial of doing it again and again and again, and the practicing your art and making it into something that is able to bring you a living.
Well, also, I always remember years ago doing a sort of a business course and them saying, the thing is, when people pay you for things, they're not just paying you for this. You did courses, or you've had years of experience. There's a lot of money you've invested in it, and also you don't get sick pay, and all of those things have to be taken into consideration and a pension and all those kind of things. They all have to be taken into consideration, and it's really
the body of work behind that work.
Yeah, and the investments that you've made financially and with time and stuff like that. And I just found her really inspiring. But also, I'm really interested in the fact that her unborn child was the motivator. And I remember, I've probably mentioned this on the pod before, but I used to be appalling at having a blood test. I'd want to pass out. I was a dreadful mess. And then I had a blood test with my daughter, and I just thought, that's it. You know, it's for her. And I think that's key with anything. Make it about it drives you forward when it's about your children and not about you.
Yes, and I think that is actually quite a good motto for everything, isn't it? I mean, it doesn't have to be about your child. It's about the other person. Even when you're doing anything, and you know, for actors, it's not about you going into the room for an audition. It's about the other people, like who you're gonna entertain them.
Exactly.
You know,
same as being on stage.
Take the focus off yourself and put it onto somebody else, and then it kind of makes it a little bit easier.
Takes
or
the
maybe
pressure
not.
off. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Either or.
It is. It's the king is here. Oh shit.
Oh my god. I'm just doing it for myself.
Just do it, yeah.
Well, and I think I really enjoyed drawing you.
I'm so sorry, Susie.
I mean, if I could be a carry-on character, I would be Charles Hawtrey, and I think that's just going to tickle me for the rest of my life.
Oh,
and I'm going to start looking more and more like him. This is the sad thing. In fact, I might just sort of start modelling myself on him. I might get some new glasses,
get some little spectacles,
get some little yes,
become very camp.
A little suit. Walk on my knees with feet with their shoes on them, because it was quite. I think he's very slight, isn't he?
It was very slight.
Very short, slight
very very slight.
Maybe he wasn't short. I don't know.
I think of him as being quite tall, but
okay.
You're nothing like Charles Hawtrey. But that's not what my drawing communicates.
No. Well, thank you anyway. And if any of you have been inspired to try drawing or painting, maybe for the very, very first time, we would love to see what you've done. In fact, what would be, I mean, maybe go back to the start of this podcast and start listening again. And while you're listening, or maybe go back to another one of our episodes, while you're listening, just draw something. And I think actually having your floating aubergine, yes, you could draw the sign for our new strip club. It's definitely happening. I think when you're actually not concentrating fully on things, sometimes that's when nice stuff happens, because you can kind of, it's happening without you even thinking about it, which might be quite nice. I mean, that would be great if anyone does decide to just get out a pencil and do a drawing. Please send it to us. We would love to see it. And absolutely. Also, if your favorite pieces of artwork, if you've got, you know, a picture of a portrait or anything, could be anything, a sculpture, something you've done, something you've seen in a gallery, we would also love to see that. Just want to share the art. Let's get it out there. Oh, is that it?
I thought you were going to say something else. We're back next week with an LTO brief. If you would like to join the community, it's totally free. I know it can seem like a pain when you go to click a link and you think, oh God, what am I going to be inundated with? Nothing. You're going to be inundated with nothing. You're going to get an infrequent newsletter of manageable length. That's all. It's basically so that we can keep in touch with you. You can keep in touch with us. You can make suggestions for the podcast, which is really helpful. You can put stuff forward for discussion. You can send us messages, but also so that we can let you know when we're doing lives, when we're doing shows, when the series ends, when it's coming back, etc., without us having to override the algorithm, so you don't miss anything. But literally, we've sent one newsletter so far, twice. Same newsletter twice. That's it. So we promise you, there's nothing to pay. There's no trick. We're not going to suddenly turn up at your house asking to borrow a cup of sugar. There's nothing. Nothing's going to happen.
Like a 1980s advert for Nescafe.
Yes.
Yes, you're quite right. And yeah, so hopefully we'll have a few more sign-ups, won't we? Thanks, guys. I know you're doing it right now. I really appreciate it. See you next week.
See you next week. Ta-ra, bit.
Ta-ra. Oh, is that it?